Alright, hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. How is everybody doing today? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, MG. Hello, Sam0. Hello, Janu. Hello, Starbaker. Hello, Seko. Hello, Trion. Hello, Eritane. Hello, Johnny Virgil. Hello, Vessa. Hello, Burger. Hello, Kalamex. Hello, Trion. Hello, Aegis. Hello, Inventernal. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, Daho. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Happy Lunar New Year! Happy Lunar New Year to you! Happy Lunar New Year! Chibi Star, yay! I'm glad that you guys like my chibi form. You're all now horses? Oh. Musume's update looks weird now. Hope you're having a great day so far. Thank you, Trion. I hope you are too. I hope you are too. I'm not gonna lie. I am in a little bit of a pickle today. I was trying to set up for, today's stream, which is supposed to involve, like, finishing up some owed projects. I'm really struggling with this one. I kind of don't like it at all. And I can't not finish it, but I don't know how to finish it. And I kind of don't know how to make it look good. So I'm gonna need your guys' help with that, I think. And, you know, I'll get your opinions, and maybe I'll just move the way I had it, and maybe just get it done. But I'm just sort of like, I need your help. I need your help. I'm suffering with this one. This was one of those things where it was supposed to be simple, and then it ends up not being simple, and you know, that's pretty typical over here, but but yeah, you guys can help me out. How's the pram piece coming along? The pram piece is something let me think. I was always skeptical about this one, but you seemed confident at the time. Yeah, you know, I was confident at the time. Also, hello, Lillian, welcome in. Also, hello, Stuckler, welcome in. It's one of those things where I was like, this seemed like a great idea, and it would be really easy, and now I'm just like, I hate it. I hate everything. So I'm gonna need your help with, which direction, so we can just, like, finish it off, get it done. But yeah, basically, so for those of you who don't know, I still owe 2 wallpapers and a full painting at some point. But I owe 2 wallpapers of a winning cosplay artwork. One is a, Rachel Alucard one, and the other is San from Princess Mononoke. And the Princess Mononoke one is turning out terrible. So I need your help. Because I was going, I drew it up chibi, right? And then I was like, nobody sees the Studio Ghibli in chibi style unless it's like Ponyo. Certainly not San. So it's just like, it doesn't look right for San, but it might look fine for myself and Prism. So then I tried doing like a more realistic version, and then I look fine, and now Prism looks terrifying. So I don't know what to do. So now it all just looks so awkward and unfit, and I'm gonna need you guys' help. I'm gonna need you guys' help with that, I think. Tell you what to draw? Do you want a drawing prompt? Prism's allowed to be terrifying because of Jurassic Park Prism. I'll show you what I was trying to do. I even tried doing like the snarly wolf teeth, and it's like it kind of looks horrifying. We'll see how it goes though. What should you draw? I'm trying to think. I'm not good at like coming up with prompts right off the bat. Maybe try a different brush besides Kuro ink, huh? Never. Never. I'm addicted to this. I'm addicted to this brush. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of, like, something that's, like, reasonable. Firewatch is not necessarily the most... Well, maybe chibi Firewatch. Trying to think of something fairly simple. I can't think of off the top of my head. A Firewatch tower with deer antlers. What about, like, a really, really chibi-fied deer with Firewatch colors? like really simple. Like, just the really, really simple, cute sticker style. But with Firewatch. Alright. I'm gonna show you guys the two directions here for this painting, and you can tell me which way you think I should go, because I need to get it done so I can move on, because guys, there are so many different things I want to do. It's unreal. So I'm trying to check off, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in stream too, because I need to talk about ideas. It's gonna drive me crazy. Alright. Let's jump over here then. And I really do need help. Okay. So, I tried doing a more realistic version, because before we had a chibi version. And now Prism looks kind of terrifying. And this was supposed to originally be, like, a wallpaper. And now I don't know what I'm doing with it. And I think that, like, it's okay. I tried doing the chibi version, and the chibi version just doesn't fit San, right? This just doesn't... I was looking at this today, and I was like, a chibi version of any other character is fine, but a chibi version of San is giving, like, Dora the Explorer vibes, and it's bothering me greatly, and I couldn't move forward with this. So then I was like, okay, what if I go realistic? What if I go slightly more realistic? What if I, like, go closer to the actual art style? And then Prism kind of looked terrifying, but not terrifying Prism doesn't work. Aroma, no swiping. So I'm like, I could make, like, terrifying Prism, or I could make cute Prism, but cute Prism, I don't know if that works. And then I was even trying to experiment with, like, really, really terrifying Prism with, like, the teeth and everything. Where it's just, like, this very coy, creepy smile. So, whatever you guys think. I'm curious what people think is best for this, because I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Keep the mouth and soften the eyes? You like the newer version more, to be honest? You mean in terms of, like, realism or chibi? Because I think that this was like the first iteration, and I'm just like, it's a nice idea, but this doesn't, the problem, okay, this is something I'm learning in general, and I had to learn this for the Atto contest too. I'm learning that if you combine too many ideas, your message gets too muddy. So in this case, I am trying to copy, I am trying to cosplay a well-known character who is known for being a very, very strong, independent warrior-style character. If I had made her chibi, like, if I had actually made San chibi, then it makes sense, because you recognize that it's just, like, a different version of San. If I'm cosplaying San, and I draw it chibi, now I've created 2 levels removed. Now it gets confusing. Now the message is basically lost. So what I'm learning is, okay, if I'm going to do a cosplay of a character, I need to do the cosplay in realism because it's already confusing to the viewer as is. So I need to make it more recognizable instead of making 2 layers low. Does that make sense? I'm learning about this. I'm learning about what makes a good storytelling message. And it's a really, really important lesson to learn as an artist because it's like how your audience perceives things. So I'm just like, I'm looking at the chibi and I'm like, you know what? This is too far removed. This is too different. So I am giving myself a little bit of extra work by sort of going back to the drawing board, but I think it kind of makes more sense so that it's recognizable as this movie poster that people are familiar with. I always felt the chibi looked odd. I agree. It's like, it would have been fine if I wasn't also trying to do a cosplay at the same time. You know? Also, I'm still trying to find the chibi style. So, yeah, we can probably move with realism then. And basically, like, because this is just silly fan art, because I'm not trying to sell this as a print or anything, because this is just, like, community freebie, at that point, I'm fine just, like, basically copying the poster, right? Because this is just meant for fun. To keep the spirit of the original, I'm trending more to Terrifying Prism. My first thought was that Prism's nose is kind of small. Usually works for intimidating characters to have their noses drawn smaller. There you go. Since you mentioned Dora, does that make Terrifying Prism the live-action Boots? There you go. When I suggested this back in the day, I just meant, like, Maple Story chibis. Didn't expect you to go this deep in it and take a year. It's not that it would have taken me a year, it's that I just kept putting it off. Admittedly. I just got, like, so frustrated with, like, I couldn't see any of it clearly, I guess. Yeah, in the future, I would probably just make, like, I think it's just the fact that it's just too many things removed. I think that the Yoshi one worked okay because Yoshi is so visually recognizable in shape. So that one was fine. But San is just a little, it's just a little too off, a little too obscure. So I think it worked for Yoshi, and now I'm learning it doesn't really work as well for fellow humanoid characters. Also, hello! Welcome in, Aroma Arknights! As soon as you finish these, I'm going to run the contest again, but I have no goal for the contest now, so how would you even do that? Prism's hind feet seem to be floating. It was supposed to be a jump, and it worked okay in the chibi, but it doesn't work now with the realism. So I'm gonna have to change that too, probably. I mean, in the original, like, the entire body's cut off, so it would just be cute. Actually, you know what? Let's just try that. Let's just see what happens if I just, like, overpaint a lot of things. Because the nice thing about the style that I have, is that I'm really not afraid to just paint over everything and try stuff out. Because I know that it's all on another layer, and I can always change it if I need to. This would have to be... Hang on, how would I do this? This would be cropped. I'm trying to also think of, like, where this line is, too. What was the goal for this again? It was for Irium. It was an Irium thing. Because they always wanted us to constantly try entering things. I'm gonna do a crop in just a sec and see how it goes, and then, like, adjust the canvas needed size from there. And then if it was like... I'm just trying things out. Bear with me for just a second. Because I know it's not quite right yet. Just, like, let me just sort of work with where this is in relation, and then if I was to crop it, does that give a different feeling? And then I'd probably... Yeah, it makes Prism seem a lot larger. So, one is just like... I don't know, could go either way, I guess. That way we just eliminate the problem with the body entirely. The ghost of the past haunts us once again. That sounds a good idea. We can try to speedrun making you scream in frustration this year. Oh, jeez. The new goal for version 2 of the contest is that if you don't do it, we put you back into Erie. How would you even do that? How would you even, like, achieve that? Alright, so if we did it this way, then... I think we're basically just doing a copy of the poster. So that's gonna involve a little bit of redoing and overcorrecting. Let me see here. So, if I did that... Oh wait, actually no, that's not hard. All I have to do is move everybody down. Let me just grab all these. And then just sort of scooch everybody down a little. I forgot to take the mouth. Where did the mouth go? What layer is the mouth on? How did oh. Prism can talk. I love I'm so stupid when it comes to little PNG stuff like that. Alright, I have to... This has to go lower. I guess the whole thing just needs to be moved down, right? And then if this was elongated, maybe? I'd have to redo the background quite a bit more, but... And then this would be... Obviously, wouldn't have floating bushes, just sort of have to rearrange the trees more. Probably the trees lower, fill that in more. So we could do it like that. Because it's gonna be cropped here, right? I mean, at this point, it can kind of be whatever it wants to be. I don't necessarily have to make it into a phone size. Where did this go? I can just sort of move it down so that the body is more covered up. And therefore looks larger. That's fine. I don't know, like, what format is this even for anymore? Oh, wait, I remember now. Hang on. Actually, wait, this might not work. Because the whole point is that, some people have different sized phones, so I also had to make it so that otherwise it gets cut here. See, if it gets cut here, that's a little too low. Because then it would look like, that would kind of look like that, and that's probably a little too low. Based on, like, different... I don't know anymore. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. It will just, you know, find a little in-between. We'll grab our little in between section here. Make it a little higher so that if it gets cropped, it's fine. It already did get cropped. That's fine. This is turning out great so far. We'll just do... Why did the main one get cut off? What did I do there? Why'd the tassels get cut? Alright. Can I just redo it a little? Hang on. Alright, let's try that again. I'm gonna just move that down a little bit. And then... God. Why? Alright. And then it's... We'll just make the, we'll make the head slightly larger, and then it's a little bit more in proportion. How about that? Like I said, it's really good to just be comfortable, like, having to chop up everything. Just in case, you know? There we go. Now it really is Big Prism. I can probably even make that even larger if I wanted. Probably even go a little beyond that. Like, here's probably fine. There we go. Let me... It's a little more accurate, huh? Let me see if I want the face shifted upward in the way that they have it in the poster as well. Because the face is sort of like... See if I can just test this out, like, really quick with Liquify. So I know if I'm gonna be making that change or not. And then clean it up later, of course. And it doesn't really matter, does it? Let me just sort of try moving that around here. That works. Liquid Prism. I mean, technically. What do you think? Maybe that's cut off there. It doesn't really make much of a difference, does it? Well, I guess it makes a little difference with the proportion? I don't know. I think the thing is, like, it's usually really shifted upwards. Water Prism. I think I'll just sort of keep it the way it is. It feels like this is making it, like, a little awkward, so it's fine. There's sort of... It works enough. Yeah. Let me try doing a little bit more paint over again here. This is still a rabbit, technically. Just a really disturbingly large, intimidating rabbit. What happens if I just... What if I just tilted it? What if I just grab the whole thing here and just... yoink? I don't... The spear is sort of dead. We're gonna fix that later, I guess. could work. Just sort of like tilt the whole head. This is more like inquisitive, and then this is more like staring at you. Yeah, that works. Year of the Prism? I mean, we did have Year of the Rabbit not too long ago. Because I made VTuber assets for it, so... wasn't that long ago. Alright, the cleanup is gonna be really annoying for this. Because I've messed it up so much now. I've just kept painting over it over and over and over. It's gonna be really annoying to clean up. But that's okay. That's okay, we learn how to clean up through these. And then we'll do that gray here. It's just gonna take a lot of update. Overpaint update. But we're just sort of, we're testing it out, seeing how it behaves. This is a very strange look for her, but it kind of works in a weird way. She do be looking like a bunny. This prism looks like it could easily rip your limbs off. It's the Monty Python bunny. Alright, it would be cropped about there. Let me do a quick crop test. Takes a bit of time here. Alright, how does that feel? This is supposed to be a phone style design for some reason. How did we even, like, land on that? This is good? Alright. In that case, we'll be playing the rendering game, basically. Yeah, this can we just see the difference here? Because I think this is hilarious. This was the original. Look how much we changed it. Look how much we changed it. It works though. This is a lesson for any artists that sometimes you just really, sometimes there's a necessity to go back to the drawing board. Sometimes you just have to, like, realize that some idea is not working, and even if you've spent, like, a long time trying to figure it out, sometimes you can't force it to work, and you just have to go and revisit it entirely. And it's annoying, but sometimes it just really does make the product better. Alright, let me undo this, just to make sure that we don't accidentally permanently crop anything. And let me think what else that I was trying to do. I'm trying to think of the easiest way that I can clean this without, like, driving myself crazy. Maybe if I... maybe Arcanite's right. Maybe I can't use the same brushes for this. What if I use the turnip pen? Will I just paint over a million times with the turnip pen? Would that work? Maybe we'll end up doing that. The golden retriever versus the bloodborne werewolf. There you go. Wait, how did that crop the tail? Okay, tail's gonna disappear. That's fine. My wings are kind of in the way anyways. I'll make my own tail a little bit larger here. We won't really see Prism's tail, but that's okay. You don't really see the wolf's tail either. There's technically a version where it shows, but that's okay. You should draw Prism in this style more. Terrifying Ghibli wolf style. Alright, let me just think of what I'm going to do to achieve this. Okay. First of all, we broke the spear, so we'll probably fix the spear. Let's put this all into one folder, so that it's easy to work on. And I didn't, like, kill the background entirely, but the background probably is gonna, at least the bottom is probably gonna have to be redone. A little bit. How to keep the Stargazers pacified, Exhibit 1. Prism evolves into an MMO mount to help Star travel across the Lucinari faster. The irony is that, at the end of my prequel lore, I was essentially acting as the mount. And Prism was on my back. Despite Prism's expression, I'd still pet them. Yes, because I do have a feral form, if you forgot. So Prism was the owner? No, Prism was just tired. Alright, I'm gonna select and merge all of these. Is it not always the best idea? But, we'll go for it anyway. Alright, let's clean this up. In the Halloween picture, instead of me riding you away, I'm carrying you Scooby-Doo style. Yeah. I mean, it was a Scooby-Doo themed piece, so, you know. It's fine. Yeah, now that I think about it, there are a lot of weird pieces like that. I can go beast mode? Yeah. Heck yeah. Obviously not often, but... Funny enough, most people did not like beast mode. The anticipation, Star chose a different pen and yaps for 10 minutes. I'm trying to think if I have... Wait, hang on. I might be able to show you my other... I used to bring... Back when I was on Irium, I would sometimes bring this up visually. Just to, like, try to communicate to people. Because, oh! Most people didn't know what species I was. I was called everything from, like, a cat to a rabbit. One person even called me a bear. And I'm going... What kind of bears have you seen? I've had, well, because my ears are a little bit larger than a standard fox, so some people do say rabbit. So I do have this form that I used to bring up on Irium. On your bears, horrible monsters. And then, No, I'd have to bring this up when they would call me a rabbit. I'm mistaken for a wolf so often because people associate wolves with cooler colors and foxes with warmer colors, and because I'm the opposite, no one ever thinks of a fox with cool colors. I had this one, and then I did do this one at one point. This was many years ago. many, many, many years ago. But that was one example. Funny enough, this one came about at the very, very, very beginning of AI happening. It was kind of a emotional response to AI. The proportions are terrible, but I did the whole thing on one stream, so... So yes, do I have a beast mode? Technically, yes. And so does Prism, apparently. Alright, let's see if I can do the Ghibli fur here. Hold my hydration check. Remember the whole Evergreen video about the difference between wolf ears and fox ears? Yeah, because of Silvervale, right? Because Silvervale was always like, why does everyone always call me a fox? And I'm like, because your ears look like fox ears. And here's why. And then I made like a whole little breakdown talking about Silvervale's ears. There's so many people who, like, there were so many back when, everyone was trying to, like, jump into VTubing, there were so many VTubers who didn't look anything like the animal they were supposed to be. They would be so off. And it's like, they kind of just thought, as long as I have animal ears and I have, you know, a few different colors or motifs, then it's fine. And I would just see things where I was like, no, it's not fine. Everyone's gonna mistake you for a different animal and you're gonna get upset. And sure enough, that's what happened. And so many people got upset. And they're like, why doesn't anyone know I'm a, you know, insert animal here? And it's like, because the way the way your design works doesn't indicate that animal. All right, I need to see what brushes I'm using here. I probably need to make these smaller. You know, this would actually, I don't want to lose the feeling that I have here, but it might be easier in this particular case to just go over and, like, try to do the line art again without being crazy about the line art, because this piece is flat self-shading. Let me just see what would happen if I did that. Let me see how awful that would be for me if I just tried to do this in line art. Like, just as a test, right? Because this is meant to be, like... Maybe if I zoom in, it'll make it easier. Also, fun facts, when you're trying to get that 2D animation look, you actually can't use a brush with any thickness on it. You see how there's like tapering on the edge here? The lines that they use don't actually have thickness. So what if we did it that way? What if we tried to be like very, very traditional here? And then we'll add some filters and everything to really sell it. Remember when girls literally be buying pre-made cat girls and going, I'm a wolf? Yes, exactly, thank you. And then they'd be like, why doesn't anyone call me a wolf? And it's like, because this was the... Yes, exactly. Because one, pre-made, and two, you didn't do anything to communicate it. You didn't even like change your like they'll have like the cat bell and fish motifs and then wonder why no one calls them a wolf. Yeah, that was crazy. I feel like I'm trying to pull off like a DeviantArt thing right now. DeviantArt Ghibli fan style. If I can force myself to do it this way though, it might work. Oh, come on. Where is it? Ah. How would an elephant VTuber look like? Oh, probably not too bad, honestly. Because you probably wouldn't do anything with the trunk. Oh my gosh, you know what would... Wait. I'm just curious. I think I know how you would do it, and it could actually be pretty cute. You do something like that, maybe? And then... What you would probably do, instead of doing a trunk, you would do a scarf. Ignore the total Chris Hart looking style here. I'm trying to do this way too fast. Alright, that's looking really Chris Hart. Hang on. Let me just simplify it then. You got the idea. Yeah, I would do a scarf with the front with the scarf part in front. I think that would be a really good way if you ever needed to do an elephant VTuber design. There is an elephant VTuber, but she wears a Gura-style hoodie. Alright, fair enough. How long have I been a streamer? It's a good question. I would say maybe, like... I think 2021? Yeah, if I ever have to do elephant designs, that is how I would do it. I would always try to find some way to communicate the trunk. And I feel like a scarf is the best way to do it. Also, if you make the ears, like, just slightly lowered, right? Just slightly lowered, it gives that sort of sweet puppy expression. And I think that helps a lot, too. Alright. Anyway. Trying to see how they're doing the fur here. It's very... The trick with the Ghibli style is the filters that I think I was mentioning this earlier, is like the filters that you put on after. So as long as we get the lines to be like somewhat logical feeling, we should be able to pull it off without too much trouble. Alright. What do you think of the aroma drawing you made for Valentine's? It's cute! I'm not really sure why you did gloves, considering you weren't trying to do, like, a hand cam stream, but I thought it was cute. I know I said that these usually don't have a tapered edge, but there's part of me that, like, can't really help it. I just need to, like, taper it a tiny bit. How is this? Oh, this is the... Okay, wait. I have to at least make sure that the lines feel like they're not so out there jagged. And I think that the way they do this is that the wolf's, fur ruff is going, like, around here, I think. So this is actually... This is sort of done as a mix of line art and flat colors. Something like that. And it's supposed to sort of show the movement of where the fur is going. So this is actually much more simplified. And I want to be careful I don't do it too much, otherwise it looks like their legs are stuck together, so that's not what I want. So I might just sort of try to guide the eye a little bit this way. And then this will be done in shadow. I think Raul was wanting some feedback at some point. I was gonna do a time lapse, but you're stupid didn't find anything to mount my phone on. I've seen a lot of people use a roll of tape as a phone mount. I've also come to an unfortunate realization regarding drawing. Time to vague post and not say what it is. What is the point of vague posting then? Why would you vague post about it? Vague posting does not help anybody here. Why the vague post? I can't help you if you're vague posting. Man, can you guys believe that this used to be on, like, cells? Like, this original drawing is, like, on painted cells. I can't. I can't. That's insane to me. The amount of undoing that you can't do would drive me so crazy. Really, the issue is you feel happy with the results of the drawing, but hate the process of drawing. Why do you hate the process of drawing? let's try to break this down a little. Why do you hate the process? Drawing is something that is supposed to be fun. If you hate the process, then there's something we need to fix. Because the other thing that you're saying, you hate the process, but you like the result, that's usually the opposite of how most people feel. Most people like the process and hate the result. So I feel like there's something that we could break down here. Never feel happy with the drawing until it's pretty far along, and it always ends up hurting your right hand. How are you holding your pencil? Is it possible that you're gripping it too hard, that you need a pencil grip? Is it possible that you are using a pencil that requires too much pressure and you need something that has a lighter hand? Like, for example, I will let you guys know a secret. I think I've talked about it before, but I don't think I've talked about it since the AK crew. I do not hold my pencil correctly. I don't. I hold my pencil in a very, very, very improper way, and people have been trying to correct it for a very long time, and it's just not something I'm ever going to correct. That way of holding my pencil, makes it easier to, cramp up, makes it easier to, get in trouble with things, makes it... I never draw how you're taught to draw. I'm trying to think if I can explain it. Trying to think here. Sorry, I'm trying to think at the same time I'm trying to fix these lines, and it's like not handling confusion well. Give me 1 sec to get these lines figured out for fur. Alright, let me just shove these over. That's better. And let me just say where we're at. Okay. I do not write correctly. Never have. I think that the way that I work has more control, but it's not how you're ever taught to work. You know how they always tell you to draw from your elbow? I draw from my wrist, which is a problem to begin with. But the other thing is, the way I hold my pencil is like a weird claw grip. And you're not supposed to do that. I don't think I'm holding it too hard or anything. It also happens digitally. I'm also ambidextrous and tend to draw with either of my hands. It's usually the hand at rest that hurts the most. Huh? Wait, so the hand you're not drawing with hurts when you're drawing? I'm confused. Like, if you're drawing with your right hand, your left hand hurts? Let me see if I can draw it out. So most people, if they are using a pen, right? Let me think how you're supposed to... Yeah, okay. Part of me trying to draw a hand right now, but... And then I think... That would be like where the fingers go, right? Okay. This is probably how most people draw with a pen, correct? You have like... Yeah, I think this is how most people draw, correct? Is this right? This is how I hold it. I'm not kidding. That's how I've always held a pen. I can't explain it. Professional artist drunk version. Draw right-handed and pinch the pencil with your thumb, pointer, and middle fingers. That's how you're supposed to. That's what you're supposed to. That's this. Yeah, I don't know where this came from, but it's just universal. I've never been able to not work this way. I don't know why. So, yeah. It could always be the way you're holding your pen. Turn this into a short, trust me. Oh my gosh. Truly horrifying. It's not, like, crazy, it's just... Yeah, I don't know. I'm serious? Oh. Alright. Usually draw with your wrist and your wrist rests on the deck. They always say that you should draw with your shoulder. I don't draw with my shoulder. I've never drawn with my shoulder. I draw with my wrist. Vessa's just going like, oh my god, I finally understand how you got carpal. But yeah, there you go. The way that you hold your pen could be making a huge difference too. I'm just grumpy and even I don't hold a pencil that weird. I don't know where it comes from. Yeah, I don't know. It does look really weird. I don't know where it came from, but I've never been able to change it. There's times where I've tried to study how to change it, and I never feel like I have enough control. I'm a little scared. I do everything from the wrist, because if I do it from the shoulder, I can't feel what I'm drawing. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I feel like drawing from the shoulder is just way too loose, and I like to do things that are really, really detailed, so... A horrible idea for a meme, oh dear. So, yeah. There's that story for ya. There you go. So you see, Raoul, it might have nothing to do with the work itself. I parody myself at your expense. I mean, I parody myself at my expense for you. Words. Well, last time, I didn't parody at your expense. Firewatch did. I don't think parody is the right word, but like telling embarrassing story. What is this? Telling an embarrassing story is called a starism. What? No. Excuse you? You self-deprecate for our amusement. There you go. Believe it or not, it's not intentional. Is that right? Is that how... I guess that is right. I feel like something is off, and I think it's just because of where the tassels are. I know it seems silly to be doing, like, all this line art when I've been working on doing that painterly style for so long, but my mindset is, this is a one-time thing. I don't normally do Ghibli stuff. I don't normally do, cel shading, and I want to change the style from cel shading. However, in order to get the Ghibli look, it has to be cel shaded. It just has to have that same look. Therefore, I'm gonna do this one time, and then I don't like doing clean line art. It's not my favorite thing in the world. So this is probably a one-off, even though I'd done all the work ahead of time. And on the other hand, you prefer doing digitally? Yeah, because you can make the brush huge if you have to, right? See if I don't mess up too much on the edges here. Have I ever been scolded by my mentors for holding things wrong? Surprisingly, no. I was scolded early on, but, like, later in life, no one really cared. So. Well, I think early on, you know, it was trying to be corrected. And then later in life, it's like, oh well. But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if you had to attend some sort of fancy formal event, it's like you have to force yourself to change that. Raul, you good? You alright? Also, okay, Johnny Virgil, have a good rest of your night. Thank you for stopping by. I'm so confused, even Vessa doesn't say that. A mud skipper? You walking your mud kip? Alright, how do I do this with my tail in the way? I'll do it like this, maybe. No, that's not right. This is not working. Give me a sec. I'd like to sincerely ask for forgiveness for the thing I just posted in Starlight Clips and Memes. Something came over me and I don't know what happened. I'm a little scared. Should I be a little scared? I'm a little scared. Do I want to look at that? I don't know if I want to look at this right now. I'm scared now. The fact that Void had to put a disclaimer is quite frightening to me. It's not as bad as it makes it sound. Okay. Alright. Let me at least just figure out the lines. Oh, that is terrible fur. I'll have to redo that. What did you do? What have you done? What the heck? What is this? What the heck, man? Okay. Wow. Amazing. Incredible. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Ouch. That is... that... Alright then. Put it up on screen, subject us all to it. You're terrible. Alright, this is courtesy of Void. I'm gonna go hide in a corner now. amazing. Thank you for the Discord shout out. I appreciate it. Oh. Great. Incredible. Truly, truly amazing. Truly incredible. I'm gonna force him to join the Discord if you hit it? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of assumed everyone on this channel was in the Discord. Oops. I will keep that in mind for next time. I'm drawing terrible for it right now. Ah. Divine Void did truly divine work. We can't hide it. Oh, gee, newbie, hi! Well, that's a thing. Hi, newbie. It was courtesy of Void. Newbie, how do you hold your pencil? I'm trying to think of how to even make this work. Something like that, I guess. People call me a heathen because you pinch it near the lead? Huh. I have a stylus in my hand, so I can't really see how that feels. Pinch it near the lead. Doesn't that feel like it's gonna slip out of your hand? It feels like it would fall. Wait, how was the tail drawn on the wolf? Oh, that's very different. Wait, that's very different. What? Is your nephew okay? What? I'm so confused today. I'll clean this up later. It's not clean right now, but I will clean it up later. Because I'm not really sure how to handle it now. He's okay, he wasn't home at the time. Jeez, I'm very sorry to hear that. That's still crazy. There's so many different things happening in chat at once, and I can't parse my head through any of it. Way too many things are happening. You've been too calm? What do you mean you've been too calm? Oh my gosh, why can't I get this right? Ah! Ugh. I genuinely, I don't really know what to say other than I'm really sorry and I hope that everyone's okay. I mean, I'm glad that everyone's like out of the house, but like, I'm sorry that happened. I don't know what else to say. Alright, let's end up being so tiny. Wait, where's the... Okay. Ugh. Yeah, we'll just do it like that. What pieces am I working on today? Yeah, just Princess Mononoke. I'm trying to get that done. We went to a more realistic approach because before it was very chibi, and it really wasn't working specifically for Princess Mononoke. It's just not the direction that it should be. So we're making it more realistic, and Prism now looks terrifying. I'm just trying to make the... And Prism stares at me when I'm eyeballing the new ottoman. My gosh. Yeah, my hope is to, oh my gosh, I can't think now. My goal is to try to get this one done and the Rachel Alucard one and just sort of get those checked off, and then at some point I'll tackle the free run one, but I feel like I just need to get these done, and then I'll feel like I can relax a little bit more. I mean, relatively speaking, right? Alright, I think that makes a little more sense for the tail anyway. I just don't want it to look like an accessory. Like, I don't want it to look like wearing a tail. Should be an add to-do list, feels nice. Yeah, exactly. It's just, like, very long, overdue things that I want to get down because, if I was smarter, I would have done this in Vector, now that I'm realizing. My goal for, like, in the few months is to start up a... Alright, backtrack. I was mentioning this in the Celestial channel. And I can mention it here now, because it's just sort of like a general update. But I am hoping to start a mail club soon. And in order to allow myself to do it in the best way possible, I need to start chopping through the owed work. So that I can dedicate more time and attention to it. And it's something that takes a lot of prep, but I think it's gonna be really, really good. I'm extremely nervous about trying it, but the idea is getting more and more popular by the day. More and more people are joining mail clubs, and I just sort of like, I have to jump on it sooner than later. But the goal is to use it to focus on telling more of things related to Illusionari. I'm hoping that it will give me the openness to jump into that. So that's why I have to get through all of these projects that have been on the back burner, because otherwise I will not be able to do it with any form of sanity, regardless of how much I have. So that's why we're going back and doing pieces that were all the way back from Irium. But I think we're making good progress, and I think we figured out some good things that we need to keep in mind going forward regarding, like, the design and things. And like I said, I don't really think I'm gonna be doing clean line artwork again anytime soon, but it's needed if you're doing a Ghibli style. You need clean art for a Ghibli style, but I do not think I'm gonna be doing clean art going forward like this. I don't like doing clean line art. It messes me up. It's hard. It's confusing. But I'm doing it so that we can get through. And then focus on Mail Club stuff, and that should be really nice. Mail Club and 3D, that is the goal for this, this first half of the year, is Mail Club and 3D stuff. I'm really, really, really hoping to get to the 3D stuff. Like, really, really, really eager to do 3D. It's itching away at me. I'm chomping at the bit to do 3D. I'm not even 100% sure, like, exactly what all of the 3D stuff would be, but I know I need to do it. I notice a lot of 3D artists, they'll make like a few designs, and then they'll just like consistently make those over and over again, and then those are the ones they sell. And I really don't know how I'm gonna go about doing that. I just know that I need to do it in some form. I think we're gonna start doing beans first, because beans I'll at least understand how to work with something that everybody is familiar with. Hmm? Like the old Weird and Wild animal mail cards. Wait, what? How else do you say mail? Dog got carrots in her ears. I'm sorry I don't have, like, the exact pronunciation of every person? Dao probably heard mail. It's said the same way! One is a logical product, and the other doesn't exist. You would use a different word to describe the other thing. You would use a completely different term. Oh my gosh. Problem is that some of us don't know what a mail club is, so we think of the other. What? Gosh. I don't know how you even think of the other, because the other doesn't exist under that same word. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yes, okay, how about this? What if I say snail mail club? Does that make sense? If I say snail mail? Because some people call it that. They call it a snail mail club. You can't mix that up, right? You can't mix that up. Snail mail. You've heard of snail mail? I can't tell if you guys are trolling me at this point. You've never heard of... I can't help you if you've never heard of snail mail. Chain. Oh my god. I'm not reading that. You've never heard of Okay, do you know what a letter is? I can't handle this anymore. Oh. Okay, you don't have to know what a mail club is, because that is a relatively new thing, but I hope you guys know what snail mail is. Too many Zoomers SMH. This is like... Oh, you know what? That's locked key. That's exactly the problem, is that they've never had snail mail. That's the problem. The whole point of the subscription is to get snail mail back. So, okay, when you send a letter to people, and you're not sending it as a package, and you pay for, like, really, really cheap postage, it goes really slowly. So it's called snail mail. If you send a letter to somebody, and you're not paying for package shipping... You mean postal? As opposed to email, which is instant. It's not an American term! It's not an American term! What's the point of email but slower? Physicality. Physical things where people want to feel connected outside of the screen. Wanting a physical presence and knowing that there's other real people interacting with you. In a sense that it's like very, very... Like, why do people buy books when there's Kindle, right? I googled snail mail and says it's a musician. What? Alright, give me a sec. Oh. Oh. Stupid 26-year-old musician confusing everybody into not knowing what snail mail is. Oh. Oh, hey, she has a concert in London in June. Great! Happy to hear it. Oh. Okay. Let me start over, I guess. As Vessa's trying to make me do. Basically, a snail mail club, a postal mail club, a newsletter mail club, whatever you want to call it, whatever makes you happy, is a monthly reoccurring membership where you get a physical letter that has goodies inside. And sometimes the goodies are like a letter talking about what is happening with an artist or with a world, or you get little stickers or little postcards or prints. So I want to do a monthly... it's not a newsletter because it comes with a bunch of stuff. it's more than just a newsletter. And I don't even know if you'd call it a newsletter, because it's not a newsletter if it's not like general updates of things, right? It could be like a Dear Sally type of thing. So, you know, it kind of depends which way you want to go about it. So, basically, it would be a monthly thing where I would want to send a letter from Illusionari, and a print, and a sticker. And maybe, like, a trading card or a postcard or something. Little extra goodies as I'm thinking about it. And it takes a lot of planning, and the worst thing to do is decide you're gonna do it and then try to launch it that same month. So it's something where I'm going to need to do a lot of planning ahead of time. So that I can have, like, a queue so that I don't get... So the worst thing is when you're trying to do the art, like, on the same month, send it out on the same month. It's like a magazine, but without the magazine. I guess? It wouldn't be a subscription box, because it would be anything that you can send flat in a letter. But I guess it's kind of a similar principle. Hang on a sec here. Yeah, it has to be flat, because if it's flat, then I will be able to send international. Quick tips, subscribe to one with no politics allowed if you want to share what you get. What? I mean, I'm always no politics. You heard of these thanks to Stan Lee? That sounds like something Stan Lee would have done, yeah. So the thing is, they're getting to be very well known now. They're getting to be very, very popular these days, and I think it would be really nice to jump on, not because of the popularity, but because it's such a great avenue for Illusionari, right? It's such a great way to bring more of Illusionari to you guys. And that's sort of like my main thought process, because there's so many people who are like, I want to start this and I want it to go viral and I want everyone to love my little mail club, and I'm going, my main concern is getting Illusionari out there and getting more of my work to be about Illusionari. But that's kind of the idea I had. I was also thinking, like, you know, if there's any things that you guys wanted to... If they were, like, as you learn more about Illusionari, as you learn more about Stargazers, and, like, where you would fit in to the world of Illusionari as a Stargazer, if you wanted to write, like, a little short story about an adventure you had or something, then it could be something that you might submit. I'd probably limit this as, like, a Celestials thing. But you could potentially submit something that would be included in everybody's mail. And it would be like a physical thing that you would have sent out. Well, I would do the sending out, but you know what I mean. I know these as zines, but they may be somewhat different thing. A little bit different, but same audience, I guess? Probably a very similar audience, to be honest. Okay, this also used to be, like, people used to do sticker clubs. Do you know about sticker clubs? Because it's very similar to that. Except the whole focus is Illusionari, which makes it very, very different. We need the Vesa advice corner at the end where Stargazers send in a question and Vesa writes a reply with a little doodle. That would be fun. I always get confused with how her horn looks in perspective. Her horn always slightly confuses me. There we go. But yeah, I mean, like, what do you think? It's something I'm really hoping in the next few months to, like, build up, get people excited for, and then launch it in a few months. And be able to do, like, physical things in your mailbox. I'll sign up. Do you have a rough idea of what type of price range we're looking at? What I'm thinking is, I'm considering around 15 USD, and then international, and local postage would be included. So you wouldn't have to pay any extra for postage, and it would just be the same for everybody. That's sort of my current direction. And if you miss a month, or if you have to take a break or whatever, and you don't want to, like, completely miss out, then I would have options for back order. It would be a little bit more expensive just because you have to hold the inventory for it. But I would have options for back order, just like people can back order magazines without, subscription. So a lot of this is happening right now, like, in the general zeitgeist of things, because so many people are, like, missing physical media, not really trusting one another, wanting sort of a little bit of an escape. So this is becoming pretty big right now, and maybe I'm the first person you're hearing talk about it, but I'm sure you're going to hear more in general as the year goes on. It is something more and more people are getting into. So, I didn't invent this. It's not an American thing. It's actually far from an American thing, to be honest. But yeah, that's sort of the rough idea at hand here. $15 for special star stuff sent directly to my home. Hot diggity. And it would be like different things each month. So 1 month it might focus on Prism. 1 month it could focus on myself or someone you haven't met. It could focus on different species that you've yet to encounter. It could focus on food. It could focus on regions. It could be different every month, and you don't know. You don't know what you're gonna get. Or you could learn about, you know, different times of the year. There might be talks of different holidays around Illusionari. Stuff like that. I think a goal would be to try to release this, like, around Starfall. Maybe maps. Maybe once in a while there's a map of a location. You know, all different kinds of things. It can be like a huge variety of Illusionari charm. And by doing it in a letter, I can send it to anyone. It does sound very cozy, especially with things going on. Small reprieves like this can be very uplifting. Yeah, exactly. That's basically the idea. That's basically the idea. I want a month focused on the Crystal Apple Stargazer. There you go. That means stuff that you could fold into a 3D form are also game. Yes. I don't particularly know of many, but yeah, papercraft, absolutely. I've seen all kinds of things. I've seen people doing, like bingos and crosswords. I've seen little daily check-off lists or accountability stuff that people like. There's all kinds of directions that you can do for this. When is Starfall? Late summer? Beginning of August. Let me see if I... So it's basically just gonna take a lot of planning. But my hope is that if I can do the planning ahead of time, then I won't get caught in what so many people get caught with, where they're trying to rush and struggle to figure out what they're releasing like that month. So I'm hoping that by doing a little bit of pre-planning, then we won't run into those issues. Maybe one month there's an entire thing dedicated to cheese, you know, who knows? Oh, star idea? Yes? What if on a walk through Lucinara you send the mail club stuff you find on your journey in real time? Explain. I'm intrigued. The mail club stuff you find on your journey in real time. Can you elaborate a little? Or maybe if you need to elaborate later after stream, that's fine too. But I'm kind of curious what you mean by this. Don't tempt them with a good time. I have to find some way to market it. One month is a card expressing how happy you are for having received an ASMR mic on Starfall. Guys, I don't do ASMR. I do not need that kind of VTuber reputation. Props to anyone who does it. It's just not me. You do unintentional gremlin ASMR? What does that even mean? What did Daho say the other day? Daho said that I sound like Ado. Like, where do you get that from? If you pass through a town that's famous for its cheese, you send them stuff from the town. After, if you find a nice little place in the forest, that's what you send. Like a journal diary. Wait. I'm trying to think of what you mean by... If you pass through a town famous for cheese, you send them stuff from that town. I can't afford to send cheese, though! After, if you find a nice little place in the forest, that's what you send. Like a journal diary. Are you saying you want a journal page? You want a postcard? Do you want a journal diary of my experience, or do you want a postcard? A postcard from the town? Is this simplified to just saying postcard, or is this something else? Detailing your journey through Lucinaria, so each new letter is about a new region you've traveled to since the last one, and your encounters getting there. That could be rough. If you want to know where I get stuff like this, I want to ask first, how do I cite a hallucination / a dream in APA 7? What? Yeah, Inventurnal, I'm going to. I just haven't gotten there yet. Simplified to say in postcard, like how people do little tours and vacations, and they use those as updates on their path through, but applied to Mail Club. Like how people do little tours and vacations. Wait, but okay, just so I understand, newbie. Are you saying to just include a postcard with the Mail Club? Because that's very doable. Greetings from Cheese World. I don't actually know where in Hallucinari has the best cheese. I'm gonna have to find out. You can, but not what I meant. I'm gonna have to... Alright, I might have to talk to you about it, because if it's different than a postcard, I'm like, intrigued but slightly confused. Unless you just mean like a, you know, like a Dear Abby letter, but it's like, you know, today we went to Cheese World. Is that what you mean? I guess there's so many variations of how you can do this, you know? So many variations of how you can deliver a message to people. It's always so hard to do teeth. I think that was about right? Yeah. Make it a little wider. Let me just try to get this right here real quick, because it's a little hard to figure this part out. All right, I think that's right. It's not matching up yet. It's a little too curved, I think. It feels like it's falling or something? I'm gonna have to fix this one. Also, hello, Sierra. Welcome in. It's hard to fit all the teeth on here. And I'm using like a wolf face as a base, so it's not as accurate. Alright. Let me just move this. It just feels like it's falling is all. There we go. That's probably better. It's not 100% there, but like... it works enough, probably. Yeah, we'll work with that. You require my wisdom for a drawing. Okay, what? Teeth like a cat's with long pointy fangs. I mean, they're supposed to be larger. I'm just, like, struggling to... fit it, really. Wait, how does it work? It's like, okay. Yeah, I don't want it to look like a, I don't want it to look like super fang-like. I'm fine with it like this. That's fine. And somebody was saying all the snarly bits, so we got it going here. I'm just playing around with the different faces, briefly. Seeing what works. Yeah, that works. That's fine. I'm doing an action scene in a place I recall from the rules section on Discord, like a lost woods filled with the unfriendly beasts that lurk within it. How would I go about it? Rule section, like the Lost Woods. Are you talking about outside the atelier? Wait. Are you referring to Illusionari and the atelier, or are you referring to something else? I think so. I mean, are you making your is this for something related to Illusionari? Or is this a different project entirely? That's all I'm asking. Right. I think we're getting it. As freaky as it looks. I think we are strangely getting it. This is absolutely a Monty Python rabbit if I had to say so. Prepare to star-crossed. I'm trying my best to match what you envisioned your world and trying to mess it up. It's tricky, right? Because I haven't really, like, admittedly, you know, this part's my fault. I haven't really, like, made enough illustrations to really articulate it for you. But, I mean, how do I describe? The forest is basically, like, it has a lot of glowing elements at night. So that kind of makes it unusual. But for the most part, you can probably get away with just like a thick, dark forest. I mean, honestly, like, if you take Princess Mononoke and you just look at like the craziness that is that forest, that's probably accurate enough. I can't tell you, like, the different flora and fauna, because I haven't done enough study on it, but... Now scared to go out of the burrows. Basically, okay, the way I can describe it to you is that the forest is self-protecting. And the forest kind of knows if there's something there that is going to cause trouble. And if there is, then it basically goes all Lost Woods on people. It is why I'm not allowed in the forest and stay in the deep burrows. The forest is clearly broken. Look at all the crazies it let in. I mean, crazies, but not like horrific, right? It's like it's a fail. Basically it's a natural security system. And it's going to self-preserve, right? So it's mainly looking out for what's going to harm it. Oh, you thought the forest was, like, specific to, like, protect the atelier? No. No, it's a very generalized system. The bunnies are fey, therefore crazy is expected. Exactly. We don't talk about the troublemaker stargazers that get lost. Animism, basically? The spirits defend their own. Yes. The ring camera at the front of the forest, going into infinite maze mode when someone suspicious approaches. The natural security forest that haunts me to this day is the one in The Hobbit. Ah, fair. The setup is Prism investigating the crash site from Zardz's ship. Looking for food, he's stranded in Lucinari, and beasts are after Prism. Interesting. If Usako aims anything at the forest, Groot is going to jump out. I think we're getting some good progress here for the lines. I know it seems like it's going slow, but I'm gonna try to speed it up a little bit rougher and then, like, work on cleaning it up afterwards a little. Hopefully that should make things go a little faster. Yeah, I'm still not used to feeling slow on stream. It's something I still get self-conscious about. She really does look kind of rabid now, doesn't she? Rabid rabbit. Oh, you know the other thing? This is something I might have to experiment with and be, like, super, concerned about. So I'll probably test it before actually doing it. But if I can get comfortable enough with handcam, I might be able to do, like, you know, stream while I pack mail orders or something, right? You know, chit-chat stream while I'm working on stuff in envelopes. Could always be fun. Absolutely not? Oh. Okay. Never mind then. You have trouble focusing while drawing? If you try to do that, my package will end up going to Costa Rica. But it's the difference between, like, having to focus on, like, a very specific thing versus, like, just envelope stuffing. I mean, the real question is, you know, can I handle doing handcam stuff? And that I don't know about yet. That would be something that I would not be doing anytime in the future. Just a general idea. I was just joking, everybody's jumping at me. I thought it was funny. Curse of Vesser. If she has trouble focusing, I want to see a hand cam of her cooking. Like, she tries to cook ramen and instead a burger comes out the pot. Goodness. All food is now burger. Oh no. Alright, I think that's good. I think we got Prism in. I just gotta add her little tassels. I'll do that on a separate layer in case I need to do... Since, oh wait, no, there isn't overlap. I take it back. Wait, there isn't overlap, is there? Oh, never mind. Oh, that makes it easy. Sort of make this a little bit rough. I think the thing is, like, in the future, instead of doing, really clean line art like this, I want to be able to do rough like this, and then, like I'm doing now with her tassels, and then sort of paint it over, and then do a lot of, like, rendered detail so that it doesn't even look rough, it just looks really organic. It's a look that I really enjoy, and it's a look that I have not embraced enough, and I know I can be very comfortable working that way, so that is the way I want to work going forward. Is this very loose, rough, painterly, organic feeling style. And one thing I learned about myself, and this happened a lot when I was working on the Atto piece, is I should be working on my 2D art in the same way I work on 3D art. And the way I mean that is, like, my 3D art is very loose. It is very rough. You throw down clay and then you smooth it out. And that is, like, the painting and the sculpture work can reflect each other. So I think I'm sort of learning about my art style by jumping between both sides of things. I don't know if that makes any sense or if I'm just yapping. But I'm learning what is working for me, and it's making a huge change in productivity level. So I'm kind of excited about it. This part really isn't going to be seen since it's cut off, but hey, that's okay. Probably needs like a little bit of fur piece here too. I'm gonna have to clean all this up later just to make it look more like clean Ghibli style. The good protective bunny mount. April Fools, next year you should do a funny mail club thing and draw an explorer's journal sketch / depiction of the wild burger loop. Oh my gosh. Only if I can say brought to you by Vesa. I need to make sure that people know that that's not canon. But for April Fools, maybe. Maybe. Just maybe. I'm so brain rotted. I saw the brown and blue and instantly thought aroma. What? Because the canvas is blue? Oh my gosh. Why Prince Mononoke, but Prism is a giant wolf beast? Because I owe an art piece back from the Irium days. See, Hero, do you remember the whole cosplay thing that I had to do? This is me finally getting around to that. This is so that I can jump onto more important projects, like certain commissions that I have to work on, or getting ready to do a mail club, or things like that. So I am trying to get all my owed stuff done that isn't commissions and mail club related, so that I can put more focus on those things. That is why Wolf Prism. To be fair, the reason it took so long is because I kept redoing it. I kept redoing it over and over and over. So now I'm getting around to it, even though it's late, and the people from Irium aren't really here anymore, but you know what? A promise is a promise. There's still people who participated in the contest. So I'm getting through all of my owed gift work. And the thing is, you know, I have to give myself some grace, because I know for a fact that there are so many artists who would just say, sorry guys, plans change, we're working on something else now, and I'm not going to be doing this. So I feel like I have to give myself some grace, because I know that there's plenty of other people that would just, like, say, oh well, let's move on to something more fun. I mean, I'm having fun with this now, but I was not having fun with this when it was in chibi form. I was struggling so bad in the chibi form. So this was a very necessary, shift. And I can mimic a 2D style, a flat style, but geez, I am not someone who should be doing that long term. Oh wait, this doesn't go around, it connects to the fur. Okay. This isn't really the style you want to do going forward. Yeah, it's not. This is a really anxiety-inducing style for me, because I feel like every line needs to be perfect because it's so clean and because it's really easy to see all the mistakes. So I really want to go painterly in the future. I want everything to be painterly. One of the reasons for doing the mail club is to create excuses to be able to do more portfolio work that I can learn to do in a very consistent style. Oh, I forgot to say, another thing I wanted to do with the mail club, it's probably not the most necessary thing in the world, but I think it might be something I would want to do anyways. I think that every once in a while, even if things are very, very, very Illusionari focused, it might be nice that once in a blue moon I throw in, like, an Arcanite's operator sticker, right? Like, just a little, like, hey, I know what you guys, joined here for, and I want to show that I still appreciate you for this. It would be stuff that I'd probably, like, want to sell in a shop, so it wouldn't be very exclusive. And then it's like, yeah, but I also just want to, send it to Arcanite's peeps. Rel goes, the Rorschach test is stupid. Why is it always the same exact picture of Aroma? Oh my gosh. That's amazing. I'm trying to not give up. I'm trying to stick through all the things. I saw this, I forgot who it even was. I think it was Ludwig. I saw something of Ludwig recently, semi-recently. And he basically was talking about how he would do all these events, and then he would owe all these things. And he was talking about how, like, oh, I owed this challenge and that challenge. So now my focus is figuring out all the things I owe and getting them all done so I can stop feeling terrible about myself. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing now. Alright, Aegis, have a good rest of your night. I wish the best for your nephew. I hope everything goes well. Working on getting out of art debt. Exactly! Great way to great way to think about it. I love doing gifts and prizes for people. I really, really do. The problem is, in my personal opinion, I think the problem with doing, like, gifts and prizes is that I currently don't have a consistent style that I can just, like, get a piece out. And that change in consistency is really what holds me back timeline-wise. Once I can figure out a style that I can just keep replicating and doing over and over and over, then I can do more gift-related things. And that is also kind of, again, the reason for the newsletter, is to sort of work on developing a visual consistency that I really like. And if you have that consistency, you don't constantly question everything you're doing. And I think that's the important part, right? You're not constantly questioning every time you make an art piece. It just kind of has a natural flow after a while. And I don't currently have that, so I'm working on discovering it. But yeah, it's like, you know, no one's putting a gun to my head. I don't necessarily have to do this. This is just something that I feel is right to do. To just getting through everything I can. By the way, this also includes getting through people on a waiting list who have been waiting a ridiculously long time as well. So this is all sort of like chipping away at things so that everything can be orderly and proper. Trying to be responsible. Trying to do my best to be responsible. This arm needs to go much further back. Put in a commission when we were 10 years old and I'm still waiting. My gosh. I would hope that I've gotten those off my plate by now. Alright. Must be an intimidating list. I'm just trying to get through it. If you're... Why is this connected? If you guys are ever wondering about where I'm at on the list, I keep it public. I keep it public for as much transparency as I can have. I have a Trello. If you go to the About Me section in my Discord, I try to do my best to keep the Trello updated. I'm currently working on finishing up Arcu's piece, which I also realize kind of has the same issue as doing the clean line art again. So that's sort of like, I'm gonna adjust that. Working on Arcu's piece, and then there's quite a few people in the waitlist that I'm going to get to. And then I will be able to focus on other things. But, you know, other people always come first. I'd like to keep it a surprise? What do you mean a surprise? The thing is, I'll be very open about this. I have not been this, it is not unusual for me to have this much built up at this point. This is very, very unusual for me to have this much going on. So I'm trying to just sort of like get it all squared off. And like, it's something to be very grateful for, right? Like, it's a good problem to have. Because I think previously I just didn't have as many people who wanted to work with me. So I'm very, very grateful for having this problem, but now it's time to work on getting through it. You know, really, this is serious. This is a business. I don't want to be like those kids who get called out for, like, ditching people. I think that's wrong. So we're trying to get back into serious mode. Trello of Doom. They don't know how much Arknights threw you behind a lot of things / confuse you for a while. That is really, really true. And I'm extremely grateful for Arknights. I'm extremely grateful for you guys that I've met through Arknights. It's been insane. It's been amazing. I will never, like, not be grateful for that. It's just that it did change a lot in schedule that I wasn't used to. It did throw a little bit of a curveball with things. And now I'm just trying to create a little bit of normalcy again. And I think I can do it. And I think it's like just something that we work towards, that we work through. It'll be good. It will be a temporary thing. And then we can get through things and make more fun things. Because fun things is the end of the goal, right? Fun exploratory things. Yay, fun things. Yeah. Yeah. Don't want to be on Bao's shortlist? What do you mean Bao's shortlist? Wait, I'm not familiar with this. Any project of yours is more fun if I don't know which one comes next. Like I get a surprise snail mail. Could be anything. From a candle to a surprise claymore. From a certain car. What? Oh, did Bao have something about how... I feel like... No, you might... I might be remembering now. Did Bao have something about, like, these are all the people that I won't commission again or something like that? That sounds like a large VTuber thing. Yeah, there it is. Oh, wasn't this because she didn't know how Skeb worked? Like, she was used to commissioning people, but she wasn't, like, she wasn't used to the Skeb style system? Yeah, this sounds very familiar now. She wasn't used to how Skeb operated. Skeb is very, very, very different. I do Skeb-styled work, but I don't do Skeb-operated work. She wanted Skebs to be private, but the artist posted them. Right, yeah. Because you can't, because Skeb is non-commercial anyway. So, any VTuber who's using Skeb for commercial work, you're technically not supposed to do it. Some artists don't have an issue with it, and if you and the artist can come to an agreement, then that's totally fine. But you can't, like, force an artist to do something on Skeb. I mean, okay, you can't force an artist to do anything, period. But specifically with Skeb, you can't force an artist to do what you... I just realized that this is arranged incorrectly. Darn it. Hang on. This is not my own necklace. I'm not as used to how it lays out. I would say something in my proposal, like, hey, I'd like to use it for this and this. If you don't agree, feel free to reject it. And consider that close enough to an agreement. Yeah, basically. Is it delicious? I think it's made of bone. Not really eager to try it. I just realized it's connected to the fur, so I didn't draw it correctly at first. Bone broth. There we go, that's better. The thing has to look like it's actually, like, laying correctly, you know? There we go. Okay, that's a little bit easier. That's a little bit better. It's not always the clearest design. And this is probably gonna have to be brought down, but I have to sketch it up here first, and then just move it around and adjust it. And without the earrings, it's definitely a very different, different proportion and everything. I think I have to move the whole... Make sure the ratio is right. Trying to overlap the hair with the fur, and I have to do it in a way so that you can tell the hairstyle's different. So I'm trying to do a lot of combinations. I look strange with short hair. It does the Ghibli thing where it flares out. It's doing the flare out Ghibli hair thing. There we go. So strange. May need to go eat early. Alright, do whatever you need to do. And Weston Fox, you as well. Have a good rest of your night. I think what makes sense. That's probably better. I'll leave it like that. Alright, that's good. And then... San's hair does not show in this image when she has the fur over it, but I'm trying to show it to show that it's that it looks different. A little bit of extra work this way, but I think it makes slightly more sense. Getting a little confused, apparently. Make it like I'm like trying to live test so many different things in very quick succession here. I'm very quickly trying to see how the fur layout works. This is kind of in behind, I guess, so this actually doesn't need to be covered. Trying to clean back and forth is a little tricky. This is why I don't like this style, because every line counts and has to look a certain way. I could have just blended this later if I had done the other style. So, it kind of tells you, like, why I want to change it a little. Hello, Whelp! Welcome in, welcome in. Just realized all of your tubes is carnet. What? Migrated to work desk. I keep getting to take them home. let's change this a little. That's fine. Let's just move. This hat is kind of tricky. I mean, it's all kind of tricky, but you know what I mean. Can you see that I'm, like, really, really roughing out the lines themselves? Because the idea is that that's just gonna be, off-stream cleanup. And then next stream, do you guys want to, do you want to work on the coloring, or do you want to move on to a different piece and I'll finish it off stream? Or do you not care? Fine with both? I always get nervous about trying to finish stuff on stream, and I generally do it off. So I never really know which way to go, if I'm being honest. Like to see it finished? I will do my best. It will get finished either way. It's just a matter of, I guess, on stream or not. Because this is normally I can't do it on stream. Normally I would have to do it off to do like all my rendering and not be nervous about it. But since this is cel-shaded, I think I can get away with doing it on stream. That makes sense, right? It's a little bit of a different situation. Because it's not painterly. It's funny, like, on the one hand, I want to work painterly because I know that I can work faster. On the other hand, I know I can't do it on stream. At least not at this moment, but I'm hoping to develop that ability in the future. Like, getting to that comfort level where I understand what the style should look like, so I'm not constantly second-guessing. And then getting to the point where I can do it on stream normally without freaking out. That would be the ultimate goal, I think. Is this too high? This might be too high. Can't really tell. Might be too high. What even is painterly? Painterly as opposed to flat. Painterly looks like a painting, like a Renaissance painting. And cell shading is what most animation is in. So cell shading is like flat shadows and the lines are just single colors together. Actually, wait, if I show you this actual piece here, right? So this is flat cell shading. The characters are flat cell shading. And behind them, the trees, this is painterly, right? It looks like a painting. In Japan, I learned the term is actually called thick painting. If you have a thick painting style, it's very, very different. I had to learn the term thick painting, and then I realized there were so many other resources once you got that keyword. So yeah, I like thick painting. I think the best way to describe it is like every CG that you see in Arknights, that's all painterly. That's all, like, it looks like a painting, right? It looks like a traditional painting. Every CG that you see in the game, aside from Minimalist's little cartoon, everything aside from Minimalist's cartoon is painterly. And whatever else in the future that I don't know about. The heck? Did I do this on a separate layer? Oh, I did, because I was struggling so much with the tail. I forgot about that. Forgot about my tail fail. Alright, that should... that works. That works. I just need to... just need to come up with something here. Wait, what is... Okay. It's really hard to have, like, fur, like, as a texture with wings with the tail all together and still separate that these are different materials. That probably works enough. The wings kind of make it harder to see if this is working or not. Maybe this is... Alright, let's... move this one inward a little, and then we'll move the wing outward a little. May make this slightly larger. You think my wings are small because you only see them in a squashed form, but they're not supposed to be. Have a good rest of your night, Daho. Time to let them stretch more often. My wingspan is actually much larger. It's just that I'm still Irium nerfed slightly. But if I had my full wingspan, then it would block like every time we had stages and such. So I keep them small now on stream. They would get too in the way. If I did more just chatting, then I would, like, have them much, more flared out. But I don't do just chatting. Ironically, that's what I did during Irium. But the irony is that, I had to keep my wings small for Irium, so I couldn't do just chatting with nothing on the screen, because otherwise my wings would block whatever's on the screen. Do you see the conundrum? The conundrum that, like, I always have to hide my wings because it's always in the way in some form. The suit's keeping you nerfed. I mean, even in the dress, it's still, like... Even with the dress, I still have it tucked in. I need to get casual clothes at some point. I either have full uniform or big, big dress. I need casual clothes someday. I don't know, maybe like I don't know. Bring the tomboy ball cap star sketch to life. Maybe I just don't go casual and I go with a suit. I wish it was easier to get clothes. What about the casual clothes Argan I drew you in? I do like those, yeah. I do like those a lot. I wish it was easier to get clothes, though. It's not easy. Clothes are not an easy thing. No, I don't normally do overlays. Do not do what Min does. I don't do overlay stuff. The only time I do that is when I'm doing, like, props, but I don't do that with clothing. Those are expensive, yes. I mean, in this sense, I at least know how to make my own, but it's still extremely time-consuming. There's so many other things I want to do. Clothes aren't the first thing on my mind. But you know what? Maybe that's where the newsletter comes in. Maybe that- now I'm calling it a newsletter. Maybe that's where you get, I don't know, exclusive prints in different outfits or something. The possibilities are endless with this thing. We could go with so many different directions. It's funny, because on the one hand, I'm like, what if I run out of ideas for a monthly news subscription letter snail mail thing? And now on the other hand, I'm like, oh, but now I have like a million ideas. How long did the outfit take? Man, I rushed that. The seams are probably about to break. I rushed that. I want to say 2 weeks. I think it was around 2 weeks. I did not sew that well. But I want to say it was around 2 weeks, if I remember correctly. I don't think ideas are the issue, it's time to complete them. Yeah. Fair. Fair, fair. I keep saying this, but this is looking really nice. Thank you, I'm really glad you think so. Considering this is not normally the way I work. So, I appreciate that. And I'm sorry if there's like big fans of cell shading here, this is probably the very, very, very few times I'm doing cell shading. So I apologize if that's your ideal style. This is not a regular occurrence. It took me a long time to figure this out, though, because most things are done in not painterly style, like comparatively. Because I study other artists who do a painterly style. Comparatively, most artwork these days do not lean painterly. So, you know, I would do a lot of things that were not painterly, because it just sort of matched better what everyone else was doing. And I never really felt comfortable in any of the work I was doing. But then when I work painterly, I feel like I actually have a grip on the work that I'm trying to complete. Sounds like an opportunity waiting to be seized. I sure hope so. Especially with larger paintings, like things with multiple characters, wink blink. Painterly works a lot better, and it just looks a lot better. You can't necessarily zoom in and see every detail. Granted, you can't do the same with 2D either. That's just a resolution thing, but like flow and story-wise, I think it works really nicely. Just making things looser and rougher. Just works really well. I hope one day they invent painterly style for non-digital art. Ah, yes. Wouldn't it be amazing if we didn't have to, wouldn't it be incredible if we could, like, discover a material that was really toxic to use and was really expensive and took up, like, a ton of room and most people weren't allowed to use it? Wouldn't that be great? That would surely solve my issues. I forgot I was gonna ask this. What did you mean by 3D projects when you talked about what you were gonna do? So, Inventarily, I'm not sure if you were here for that stream, but I also do 3D. I am a sculptor. I do a lot of sculpting type work. And at some point, I would really like to get back into it, because it's been a long time since I've done it. The caveat, however, being that I would have to limit commissions to US and Canada only. But it is something I want to do just in terms of regular content, because I think it would also make some really good videos. Especially, like, I have ideas for the Hoshi video that I want to do from, like, a really cool storytelling perspective. Well, I don't know if it's gonna be cool, but it's cool in my head anyway. I want the videos I do of sculpting, operators to be, like, story told. I'm not gonna sculpt out of Originium, that sounds like a horrible idea. Trying to learn every kind of art? No, actually. Sculpting is something I've done for years. Decades, even. I've actually, there are times where I've done more 3D art than 2D art. But it's been a very, very long time since I became a VTuber. I ended up going really, really deep into, digital everything. So I haven't gotten to touch 3D in a long time, but I used to work in polymer clay. All the time. All the time I used to work in polymer clay. I can see Star sculpting Vesanova as a Greek hero statue or something. Yeah, I think I showed off the I forget when. I don't know if it was a Monday stream or a Thursday stream, but I was like, probably Thursday. I was showing off a bunch of previous sculptures I had made. Digital 3D, I'm not nearly as good at. Digital 3D is scary. And the problem with digital 3D, and it's funny because I was actually talking to Vesta about this yesterday. The problem with digital 3D is that you can't, even if you understand 3D, like, visually, you understand what should look good and what should go where, digital 3D is extremely frustrating because if you don't remember the UI, then you just can't do anything. You just can't make anything. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. There's so many times where I'll be in digital 3D and I can't remember how to do something, and I just wish I had an X-Acto blade or like a needle or something, and I just want to be able to, like, you know, poke at the clay, but there's no clay there. So digital's actually really frustrating to me. There's a lot more you can do with it in terms of finished product, but I get so mad at digital. It is something I'll eventually have to do if I want to do things in 3D printing. It will eventually be a very unavoidable medium, but it's really frustrating to work in. I like digital in 2D. Digital 2D is fantastic, but digital 3D is a nightmare. Understandable, the UI is the main reason I struggle to even start in Blender. Exactly. Exactly. It's awful. I don't like it. Not one bit. But it's very necessary for 3D printing. So someday, if I want to make, like, printable beans or something, I'm gonna have to learn it. Even though I could probably do it a lot faster traditionally. But in terms of, like, in terms of replicating things, making more of something in very quick succession, you gotta do it digitally. And I know that there's, like, new stuff where you can scan in things that you've done, but it's not the same. It's not the same to do, like, a scan of a traditional sculpture. Had to deal with a few problems, all good now, though? I'm glad it's all good now, though. That is the important part. Forgot I made this neck too large. Oh no, I have to keep it there because I haven't done the facial features. You can relate to that issue in CAD modeling, yes. What's this song called? Operation Ashring. I don't know the context. I don't need to know the context. "3D modeling is difficult to parse because it's mapped to 2D inputs." Yeah, there's so many times where, like, I can't even turn it, I can't even turn the 3D model in space the way I want it to be. Like, just the most basic, simple things that I should be able to do, I can't do it digitally. It sounds like an issue that a 6DOF mouse can solve. Is that like a 3D connection mouse? Because I've tried those. It has like, a gyroscope on it. I've tried those. Did it not help? It was more like, it's probably something where you would just have to get really used to doing it, like, a lot of times. It wasn't necessarily, like, any game changer to me. Wouldn't necessarily say that it was, like, a waste, but it didn't make a gigantic world of difference. See, this leg is about here. This is a really difficult pose in general to try to draw. Well, now it was good that we had it on a separate layer. I hate those too. What works for me best is regular mouse with extra 3 buttons on the side. That's fair. You know what I really love that I'm using right now that would probably be great for 3D? I just haven't tested it yet. Absolute game changer. If these guys ever if these guys ever want to give me a sponsorship, I would take it in a heartbeat. If you guys have heard of the Torbox, Torbox is one of the best 3D tools I've used. Or not even 3D, just digital. Just digital shortcuts. I can't live without the Torbox now. It's insane. I'm using it right now. Not a sponsored stream. I really wish it was. But Torbox has saved me countless times. The only thing I really wish is that they had it working on my tablet. Like the standalone tablet. Unfortunately, they didn't allow a way for it to connect to, like, tablets until, really late in the game, and it has to be a certain model, which is really annoying. So someday I would like to try to invest in the model to do it off-stream, but I'm not really in any rush right now. But yeah, Torbox is... If they ever sponsor me, if they ever want to give me the wireless one, that would be fantastic. How are they written so we can annoy them on Twitter? Yeah, exactly like that. Don't annoy them. Don't annoy them. But I would love to work with them someday. The crazy thing is that, because of the 3D thing, because of the endeavor with the snail mail and everything, because of the sculpture, if I get to the point where I can be more comfortable with the hand cam style stuff, then that opens me up to being able to work with sponsors. Because as a VTuber, it's really difficult to try to convince a sponsor, like, hey, I'm not gonna show off your product, but let's work together. So if I can do handcam stream, that would open up a lot of opportunity. And previously, I also kind of had the thought of like, oh, well, you know, if I'm just doing digital stuff, if I'm not doing traditional stuff, then I don't really have any sponsors that would work well with me anyways. But there's so much traditional stuff that I could work with. Like, so many, like, different crafting tools that I could work with. Be like, hey, this sticker cutter, this print company, this keychain company, whatever. That could open up a lot. So many products that I want to shill, even without a sponsor. Just like, hey, I want to recommend this, but I have no good way of doing so. Trying to make these feel a little bit more 3D. That'll be good. This whole thing needs to be moved over slightly. Trying to think of where to make a cut to make this effective. Maybe like that? Try that, maybe. Make sure I don't ruin the hair. I just need to make it a little thinner. So the body proportions are more accurate. That's better. The gear website Senpai uses where you can post affiliate links. Looks like a melted game controller. The Tor box? I suppose so. Are you referring to the link website? The thing is, Vesa, remember when I almost had an Amazon affiliate account and then I almost got banned? Yeah. So it's not really the easiest thing. But this time you'd have a site. Vesa, the site directly connects to an Amazon affiliate account. That's how it works. I thought it was separated too, but it's not separated. It works by having an Amazon affiliate account. So yeah, I have the site. The issue is that I can't tell people to go through the site through Discord. I'd have to tell, I can only tell people through YouTube. If I advertise it through Discord, I can get banned. I learned that the hard way. I'm a nobody on Twitter. No one knows who I am on Twitter. Twitter has no traction. Alright, yes, you know me. That is true. Oh, Twitter also hates it when people do links now, so that's a no-go too. If I add a link, Twitter will kill me. So can't do that. Yeah, can't add links through Twitter, can't advertise through Discord. The only option I have is the YouTube description. Can you put a link in the reply? No, that doesn't work anymore. No fun allowed. Everyone cracking down on everything. Yeah, because, you know, how dare someone take a few pennies off your site, right? The reason that, and like, this didn't occur to me just because I live on Discord. I didn't really realize that this is how they were seeing it. The reason that Amazon freaks out if you send a link through Discord is because it's what's called a masked link. They can't track where it came from, and therefore it's no different than sending an email to your friend. They don't like that because they don't have access to the analytics for it. So because Discords work with the fact that you have to have an account and you have to be in that person's server, Amazon will ban you if you try to advertise things through Discord because it can't track where that came from. And it seems like, oh, well, then what's the big deal? Why would it be so bad if someone was to just, like, email their friend or whatever? The reason is because it can be exploited. It could be exploited. You could get someone who just basically, like, works with a singular friend and is trying to, like, force thousands and thousands of dollars in affiliate commissions. So if they can't track where it's from, you could fake the whole thing. So I at least understand it on that note, I guess. I think it's stupid if it's just a data collection thing, but I'm pretty sure it's an anti-fraud thing. At least that's how they explained it. Yeah. And then Honey will replace the affiliate cookie at the checkout anyway. Yeah. No, it's not a control consumer behavior thing. It really does get very, very easily abused. Most affiliate links work best when you have, like, a blog, because then they can just go to the website on the blog. But if you're doing, like, masked link stuff, then you could just do this shady underground fake out. The problem is, the issue is that, Amazon is so behind the times, they don't realize that you can have a community of thousands of people on Discord, that it's very legitimate, and they should kind of realize that that is a perfectly fine website to be advertising on. The issue is because they are not in your server, they don't have a way of tracking it. But they need to come up with some system for it, because they should realize that so many people would give them business that they're losing out on. That's the real issue, in my opinion. Is that they haven't even figured out, like, hey, most people are gonna advertise and use Discord as their newsletter. I think maybe head's too big still. Maybe it just feels that way because of the difference. Yeah, that's probably gonna be better. What's even more problem is you can put affiliate links in YouTube's video description, yet links don't work in YouTube Shorts. Yeah, very true. Yeah, very, very true. The reason that you can't put links in YouTube Shorts was because there were too many people creating easy access scam links. Phishing links and stuff. Which doesn't really make sense in the sense of, like, it's no different than a regular YouTube video, but I think it's because the different audience for shorts, it's just more susceptible. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to move this around and then just sort of adjust it. Xbox Live point generator videos all over again? Yeah. Yeah, free Robux, right? Click here. All right. I'm really glad that I switched away from doing a chibi. Because this just works so much better for Ghibli style. Wish downloading free RAM was not a scam. Yeah. Yeah. Make that a little bit lower. That's a bit of a tricky angle. Might have to work on adjusting that a little later. Make like a little tick mark so that I know to look at that later. Gonna stay on Discord solely for Star, but Nitro is gone. That is fair. That is fair. You know, with everyone freaking out about Discord, I still think it's the best place for everything that we host. But with everyone being very against it in so many ways, I will probably work on maybe trying to have a mail list just in case, just like as a backup, right? Just as a backup, maybe have a mailing list. Because it might be a good way to make sure we can stay in touch. Even if I don't send out too much stuff. Plus, I'll probably need it for the letter, Illusionary letters anyway, since a lot of people, aren't on Discord, and they might still need to get in touch. So, I still like Discord in most cases. I still think that what they're doing is better, in terms of features, in terms of what we get. I still think it does a lot of very good things, in terms of community building. It would be very, very, very hard to move over to something else. So I will not be moving anytime soon, but I do think that it is always good to have backups of everything. Communication backup for sure. If we built up a giant community on Discord, I don't want to lose that, so I might look into newsletters, as well as physical mail, as well as 3D, as well as 2D commissions. Oh my gosh, this is not going to work. Yeah, it does. It does add more work. It sure does, but you know what? You have to have a mailing list anyway if you're running a business. And I've been not running a mailing list, so... It's not that I have to keep it super, super up to date. It could just be for important announcements and stuff. But it would probably be good just to have one. If I can find one that's, like, free. If we don't have too many people. I feel the same way. I'm involved in too many deeply entrenched communities to leave yet. Exactly. I'm very proud of the Discord community we've built. I have heard that people have felt very, very at home in the Discord. I'm really, really proud of the community that we built. It would be very hard to move over. It would be very hard to switch platforms, so I don't really have any desire to do that at any time at this point. But if there's people in the community that feel differently, that feel stronger, and they themselves are leaving, then I want to make sure that we don't lose contact. Right? So, just another thing to add to the list to keep considering. Well, that's tech evolution for you, I guess. The problem with alternatives is that this is like the same thing that happens with Twitter, right? You don't know which alternatives are going to die out. You don't know which ones are going to succeed and which ones are going to fall. Like, no one can predict the next Facebook, right? So the issue with moving over, everybody, is that some people move, some people don't, some people move to a different platform. A lot of people use that switch as an opportunity to cut more things out. And inevitably, whenever you do a platform change, the majority over the minority is not going to stick with you as long-term. Because when you change someone's routine, if you change a platform, if you change a direction, it's just going to mess people up, and then they're just not going to bother. So no matter how much they might love being in a community, if you switch what they're used to doing, they might just drop at it entirely. So not knowing what the next popular thing is going to be, not knowing which platform is going to seem like really great, and then everyone just sort of doesn't really care and it dies out, you then lose people on both sides. You then lose people on the previous platform, and then you lose people from the new platform, because no one's stuck with it. And that's what happened to Blue Sky. There are some people who are still using Blue Sky. It's not nearly as competitive as people thought it was going to be. And it's just not worth their time. So that's like... it's kind of the problem. Blue Sky and that one VTuber stream site. Yeah, VStream, which I actually got in and did for a tiny bit. Yeah, the problem with VStream is that they wanted to be the next Twitch, but they didn't launch with a single feature that people like from Twitch. Saw that with the fall of Guy Online. Left with dozens, retained maybe 13 after trying many different forums. Exactly, it happens everywhere. So actually having to move is a very unideal situation. I will make a mailing list because it's a great way to keep in touch with everybody. But yeah. Alright. It has been a while. It has been a long time of tackling line art. However, I think that instead of the actual work in the line art itself, I think that what we figured out was that this didn't work. And that's an important lesson. That is an important thing to understand. That sometimes you're trying to work with a concept, you're trying to work with an art piece, and it's just not working, and you have to start over. And it does take longer. But if you have a luxury of being able to, if it's not for a client, if you have some time to try something new, then it can be better for the piece overall, right? So yeah. I think we'll probably wrap it up there. I think we got a lot of good things done. I think we solved some stuff. I'm gonna finish up the line art with full focus attention. And then, next stream, we will color it up. Yay, learning. Oh, that's the last thing that I want to mention. The last thing I want to mention, just because there's some people in chat who I want to address this. Because I was talking about it earlier, so people have probably already heard it. But, one thing I'm learning about art, and I mentioned this earlier, is that sometimes your ideas get too muddy. Sometimes simplifying things is a better solution. Sometimes if you're trying to have a cosplay and it's confusing the design idea and it's confusing the message and then you're trying to cheapify it and then it gets even more convoluted, sometimes it's just too much. The Atto piece I did, I was really proud of it, but it just had too many storylines going on. It just had too many layers. And sometimes the best thing you can do is step away, simplify the message, because ultimately you're probably going to work with the average layman who just wants the simple message. And that is what I've learned this month. And I think it's been a very important lesson to learn going forward in general. So that is my lesson to you. If you are struggling with a project, sometimes you have to step away, reevaluate, and see if maybe you muddied the message. And if you did, it is worth going back to the drawing board. Burger versus steak? Not necessarily. It could still be really complex. But telling and communicating to your audience becomes more important. And that is the lesson that I want to leave with you today. And with that, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you may be in the world and the many worlds beyond. I will see most of you on Tuesday, where we will be trying to make a little bit more progress on Ave Musica. And then Saturday, we are going to attempt the boss. And I've been told that I don't get a choice anymore. We are going to have to E2 some more operators. So we shall see how that goes. All right. Thank you so much, Stargazers. I wish you all the best. And yes, we'll grab Sakiko tomorrow as well. All right. Thank you so much. Wishing you well.